movie fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Untitled Media Podcast. This is episode 164. So the Super Bowl was this past weekend, and you know what that means? Trailers galore. Well, it used to mean trailers galore. So we're going to talk about the trailers that came out around Super Bowl weekend, because there's a lot of trailers that drop around the time of the Super Bowl, but not necessarily during the Super Bowl, so companies could save a buck because they're starting to wonder if $7 million is worth it. So we've got a lot of trailers, some good, some confusing, not any that are truly bad, but some are really, really special, and I'm looking forward to talking about those. Josh, how was your experience with the Super Bowl this year?
I had to watch it from a kitchen window because I was working most of it, which is oddly not as busy as I thought it was going to be. I mean, we thought we were going to get a bunch of to-go orders, and that was
that's kind of what I would figure.
Yeah, no, it had a lot of people either dining in or it was interesting to say the least. But yeah, lots of really cool trailers. I watched a lot of them kind of after the fact. And some of the, like you said, some of these came out on the weekend because like stuff like Sonic, Dominion, and DC Heroes, I think, kind of came out during that weekend. But
yeah, DC Heroes is primarily because DC doesn't like to spend the money. There's a couple companies that don't spend the money on the trailers and haven't. Like Sony didn't think we were getting a trailer for anything. Warner Brothers, but they still surprised us. I thought this year's Super Bowl was okay. Nothing special, but it was fine. I think people hyped it up so much that they're like, oh, it's going to be an instant classic. And it was solid football up until the end. There really wasn't a whole lot of flags thrown, but it was an okay game. I don't really remember any of the commercials, unfortunately. The commercials kind of suck this year. Trailers, except for one big one, not really the biggest showing for trailers this year, but that one that did turn out, oh boy. Also, dear God, do I have to keep watching commercials for crypto? The only crypto I want to see surprisingly didn't get a trailer this year. I was expecting a DC Super Pets trailer. That's the only crypto I'm interested in. But
yeah. It's weird. No, it is weird. I'm with you on that though. I personally was going for Rams just because I think after all those years in Detroit, I think Matt Stafford deserved to have a win because guy.
I was totally fine with either team. I was totally fine with either team. There's pros and cons to both sides. Of Matthew Stafford was more or less the perennial loser, so to speak. But at the same time, the Bengals are the Bungles. We've known them to suck for so many years. But on the flip side, Von Miller joined the Rams halfway through the season, and he was great for my Broncos, and I've always liked Von Miller and always want to see him succeed. There was no losers, except for...
Yeah.
I don't know, the refs.
Poor guys. Yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff that dropped. Outside of the Super Bowl, did you watch anything this week?
I did. I only watched one new thing, but that's okay. I don't know why, but I got in the mood of okay, I want to make sure I knock off at least one of these Academy Award nominated movies. And so I put on The Eyes of Tammy Faye, starring Jessica Chastain and Andrew Garfield. There are some good performances in this movie. But it feels like scenes are just kind of strung together. I get what the story's trying to go for of the life of Tammy Faye, but when you try and encompass a whole life, you're gonna be going through it really, really fast, and it was hard to pick central themes or what the overall narrative was. When we'll spend a little bit of time here, oh nope, now we gotta fast forward to 4 or 5 years in the future, and then we'll fast forward to 2 or 3 years in the future. I'm just going okay. Also, Jessica Chastain is a fantastic actress. I don't know personally if I was the committee, if I would have nominated her for this. She's great in it, but I don't know if she's one of the 5 best performances of the year, so to speak, because that's essentially what it means. Is if you're nominated, the Academy thinks you're one of the best performances of the year. I don't know if I'd go that far.
Yeah.
Same with Andrew Garfield. I've seen Andrew Garfield be great, but it's the right call to nominate him for Tick Tick Boom over this movie. I'll say that because he's phenomenal in Tick Tick Boom. He's still a phenomenal actor. It's just I don't think this role was as strong for him.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. I can feel that. I also, outside of Keeping Up with Peacemaker, which is heading in some really, really good places. Like, I'm excited about Peacemaker, which is not like, I think when the show started and you and I were both like, well, I don't know if it's a masterpiece. I still don't think it's a masterpiece, but gosh dang, is it a good show? No, not a
masterpiece, but good television.
Yeah, hell. And the Demon Slayer finale, quote unquote finale, was this week, and it was a thing that happened. I say that because it's like I understand a little bit because like the episode before it was like hardcore action packed because it's like the end of the main fight, and then they have to kind of wrap it up in 30 minutes. So it's like, okay, I feel you, understand. Okay, cool. But that was cool. I also kind of took a page out of your book this past week and tried to watch one of those Academy Award Best Picture movies in oh geez, I almost forgot about it until you said something that said you were watching a movie. The Power of the Dog with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh yes.
Did I ever text you my opinion of this?
Yes, I believe so. Very, very briefly, but elaborate.
God, dude. All right, like, I'm gonna spoil it because I don't understand. Okay, that's wrong. I know why this is on the Academy Award list, but I don't think it's worth it. So basically what happens is you've got some brothers that own a ranch. Benedict Cumberbatch plays one of the brothers. He's kind of an aggressive, kind of a big jerk the entire, like, that's saying it kindly. He's a jerk the entire film. And you're kind of introduced to this mom and son. The mom, they just lost, the husband or whatever, and it's never quite clearly stated until like later in the movie, like that he hung himself and like he was a massive alcoholic and stuff. And they're at no point do they hint that he abused the mom or anything like that. But then they kind of, it's like very slow, very boring. There's a lot of good acting happening, but nothing happening. Like for instance, there's a scene over by a hay bale that the Pete and Phil are the son and the jerk rancher are having like what seems like on paper with what their conversation is a very pleasant conversation. It feels like, hey, like these guys are bonding a little bit. Though this is cool. I kind of like this. But like the music is uneasy and weird, and you're like, I am confused as to what I'm supposed to be feeling here. And then at the end, they throw a little bit of a Brokeback Mountain angle, not really out of nowhere. It's kind of there, but it's a little weird because of the age difference. And then Pete poisons Phil because he was a jerk to his mom and kills him in a very mysterious circumstance. And the movie kind of ends with this like illusion that it's like alluding to the fact that Pete kills any man that treats his mom badly.
So Norman Bates.
Like at one point he's like dissecting a rabbit. And
was the rabbit trying to populate with his mom?
No, he just caught a rabbit and dissected it.
Makes me think, you saying that makes me think Rob Zombie's Halloween. I'm not listening. When he's like,
dude, it's just
the bird.
Like, I like really like deep and really like movies that do take themselves seriously.
Like Hot Rod.
I think there's okay. No, Hot Rod knows what it is and doesn't try to do anything else.
I know.
But then you have movies like The Power of the Dog, where it takes itself too seriously, legitimately has like a gay storyline, which I have no issue with. I just don't like that it was the way that it was done was in this like half-hearted, like, hey, this is a thing that cowboys kind of did under the table kind of thing. And it was like, okay, I don't know.
Phrasing.
Okay, yeah, no, phrasing was intentional. It was, it was super weird. And then they try to like, the name comes from like a Bible verse that Pete reads at the end for no reason, even though he hasn't picked up a Bible the entire movie. It's just so weird. It was such a weird experience, and it almost makes me not want to check out the other movies on the Academy Award list because it's just it was not for me. But I don't know if it'd be for anybody anyway.
Well, let's get into some rather bizarre news, shall we?
Absolutely.
Our first news topic today is honestly one of the most bizarre and strange that I feel like we've talked about in a while, just because it's like one of those legally what's happening here type of things. So the Marvel Netflix shows like Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, The Defenders, that other one with the guy in yellow and green, we don't justify with a name, are leaving Netflix at the end of February. And the world collectively together went, huh? In Tim the Toolman Taylor fashion, and I'm going, but why? And also, how? And also, is there legal precedent for this? Like, it's not one of those situations where Disney buys Fox and now they can use the Fox characters however they want. This is more of like a licensing agreement of Netflix used with Marvel's permission, use these characters and financed it themselves. They made it themselves. These shows, I would think, belong to Netflix. I didn't think these were the type of shows that could leave Netflix. I am very confused, but at the same time, again, this might be putting the cart way in front of the horse, but this also could be the first signs of Disney being more serious about putting adult content on Disney Plus, because they've flirted with the idea before and they've done it internationally. In some of the foreign markets, they have like hybrids to where you can watch Family Guy on Disney Plus, to which I'm just going,
weird. Okay.
Oh, okay. But I'm just very confused legally.
That's so weird. That, like literally having a show on your streaming service that literally makes fun of you. Like,
well, they have The Simpsons.
I mean, I know, but like Family Guy on multiple occasions.
Oh yeah.
Pokes major fun at Disney. So that's so weird.
When
that's
Peter
so odd
needs an accountant.
Yeah. Or when they travel to different dimensions and different cartoon styles.
They go to Snow White.
Ooh, man. But yeah, I agree. This is weird. It's so weird. I don't understand because, like, yeah, I can't like you said, can't these shows leave? Because these are Netflix shows, I would think. I think it's going to be weird because if they leave, that begs the question: okay, are they going to Disney Plus? Because if they're not, so do these shows just cease to exist?
Check out this Netflix show on Hulu.
Yeah, that's weird. That actually, what if they start doing that? Because it's obvious, you and I have discussed this often, that Netflix has been in the need of the cash, the money, the moolah.
The Shane McMahon.
Shane McMahon. No. We just discontinued this Shane McMahon after the Royal Rumble booking, don't you know?
Because, somehow it's all his fault, even though he has 20 plus years of having a good locker room reputation that somehow goes to crap in one night. It's almost like he's the scapegoat for bad booking, but what do I know? Yeah, I'm not buying those dirt sheets either.
It's not like Vince McMahon. Yeah, no, we're not going down that
it's not like Vince
hole.
hates his own kids.
Yeah, no. It's not like he's getting ready to sell the company or anything like that.
Funny you should say that, though. Funny you should bring up WWE selling, because watch, we're going to bring this back around, actually. Follow this weird train of thought. Peacock currently airs all WWE Network. NBC Universal also currently has a partial stake in Hulu, which some reports are going around that NBC Universal is very strongly considering pulling their content from Hulu and pulling their ownership out of Hulu and putting all their content into Peacock and going all in, which would allow Disney 100% ownership of Hulu. Wow. A WWE side tangent actually plays into this because Peacock, mark my words, Peacock will buy WWE. I think they're pulling out of the Hulu game, which leaves a void for Disney to go, all right, we already own 70% of this. Let's just get that other 30% in our pocket and let's just Hulu this up right now. That way, anything above a PG-13, we could just slap on Hulu, make it the Stars of Disney or the HBO of Disney.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It wouldn't be the worst idea. Disney does need some more like quote unquote adult content. But to bring it back all the way to Netflix, I do see I wouldn't be surprised if they start, I want to say loaning, or I don't know what the term is here, loaning out their programming to other streaming companies in order to help kind of pay the bills. It's not a terrible idea. They've got a lot of pretty good shows that could go make the rounds. Stuff like Altered Carbon could probably do really, really well on HBO Max if they ever like, hey, like that is totally a kind of show that would be on HBO Max. Stuff like that. I could totally see that kind of stuff kind of making the rounds, and I don't hate that idea. The issue I think that we will run into, and I think this is always the issue with streaming products, is because the DVD has kind of gone, DVD and Blu-ray has kind of gone the way of the dodo. If Netflix completely drops these shows, it's going to be like, it literally will be like these shows do not exist at all, period, ever. Unless they want to start selling box sets, which is not a terrible idea, but
no.
That's all I think I can think of.
We're kind of getting into, this isn't a full news topic, but we can lump it in here. I feel like we're also kind of getting to the point where some properties are shareable in that we're getting a new Blade Runner TV series called Blade Runner 2099 set 50 years after the movie that just bombed, but it's going to be made by Amazon, not Warner Brothers and HBO Max, who, made the movie, but Ridley Scott is still going to be on as producer. I don't know if Denis Villeneuve will be back. He might still be preoccupied with Dune for the foreseeable future, but I'm going, you own this property here, HBO Max. Why aren't you the ones making the show? Or we've talked ad nauseum about what the heck is a Harry Potter situation. I feel like Harry Potter is the biggest shared franchise right now, of 1 month it's on Peacock and 1 month it's on
HBO Max.
HBO Max, which, why does Peacock have any rights to Harry Potter at all? Like, yes, it has the theme park rights, but film wise, that's Warner Brothers property. Like, Universal didn't produce any Harry Potters. They didn't fund any of it. I feel like they might have been in a bidding war at one point when the movies were first being made, but I feel like content is not as concretely locked down to specific platforms anymore. I mean, maybe certain IPs like Marvel is never leaving Disney for the foreseeable future. They're going to milk that cash cow. But it's just weird of like things that you thought were concrete. Death, taxes, and the Marvel Netflix will never cross over with the MCU. But now that's a more possibility now that Matt Murdock is in the MCU. And is this a bigger sign of that? Now that this is leaving Netflix, that Disney can go, okay, we want you to not have these shows anymore. That way, when we introduce these characters in the MCU, they'll come to our streaming service for future stuff, not yours. Because there's been talk of, and I don't believe it, but there's still been talk of it, that the upcoming Echo series on Disney Plus is secretly a Daredevil show. And I'm going, that's underhanded, but not out of the question for current era Disney of, okay, we want you to take this show off. We'll pay you to not have the show anymore. That way, when we introduce these characters on our own time, we're in complete control, because that's kind of been Kevin Feige's MO.
Which I don't hate. I just think, like, at least like seasons 1, 2, and maybe 3 of Daredevil, and like season 1 and 2 of Punisher. I would love to have those on like a Blu-ray box set. But like, just because, again, and maybe this is like the kid that grew up on the internet in me, like, I don't want to lose that kind of history, because those still have a big, especially the Punisher show, that has a big kind of impact on comic book shows and superheroes actually being allowed to be as realistic as the material will allow them. So I just, as that makes complete sense. Absolutely. Echo would be an interesting surname if they kind of were like, ha, yeah, it's actually a Daredevil show, but because he doesn't really.
Well, Echo's the character, but still.
But yeah, but still, that's weird. But yeah, I don't know, man. I thought it was weird in general to bring, and I think I've said this multiple times, it's weird to get Matt Murdock shit just popping in on No Way Home the way that he did. And then also, we've said, like, so who else is in existence?
Everyone but Iron Fist.
Does this mean that the shows happened? What's canon here?
Yeah, it's confusing.
It's weird.
Speaking of weird, we have casting for the Kraven the Hunter movie, and I would not have guessed this one. Russell Crowe has been added to the Aaron Taylor Johnson Kraven the Hunter spin-off movie. First of all, wow, apparently that's not just an elaborate prank. They're actually making this movie. Whether it's a good idea or not, I don't know. Unless we eventually are not going for a Kraven versus Spider-Man story, and instead going for Kraven versus Venom. And it's Kraven's last hunt with Venom, basically. He kills Eddie Brock, or presumes Eddie Brock dead, and you get that famous shot of him crawling out of the tomb of the grave, and it's Eddie and the symbiote instead of Spider-Man. I think that's a fun matchup. My first thought is, okay, he has to be playing Kraven's dad, right? Like, they just saw Man of Steel and go, oh, he can play a half-interested father figure that's kind of doesn't want to be here emotionally. Let's just have him be Kraven, because I like Man of Steel. The more I watch it, the less I'm convinced Russell Crowe actually wanted to be there. Granted, there's a long history of actors playing Jor-El in Superman movies not giving two craps looking at you. The original, what's his face? Marlon Brando, who had to have his script written on Superman's diaper. But he's clearly playing Kraven's dad, right? Like, he better not be getting physical for this role, because no offense to the man, he's a phenomenal actor. He's not in the shape that he once was. You do you, man. Live the life you want to, but he's not in proper physique to be anything other than a father figure. And lately, comic book movies have done a really interesting job with father figures. Look at Peacemaker and the White Dragon. Like, that's a really cool dynamic that maybe we can kind of take some of that dynamic of I hated my father and bring that into Kraven the Hunter. And maybe if I finally nab the big prize, he'll finally be proud of me or something like that.
I can see that. Yeah.
I still can't believe this thing's actually happening. This is just weird, man.
I think as long as Aaron doesn't have to do a terrible Russian accent. I think
oh God.
Oh man.
And as long as Russell Crowe doesn't have to sing.
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts a little bit. So I'm gonna take Russell Crowe's character from Nice Guys and make him a trainer for Kraven, and I instantly love that. I think that's a good. I don't know about father, but maybe father-esque figure, in that he trains Kraven to fight. He trains him to hunt. I can totally see that being the thing that he does. The thing that I'm always curious, and I'm curious about this for Morbius as well, um, who how you can have an antagonist when your antagonist is your main character of the film. I don't, unless you're gonna say all of these villains are actually anti-heroes. See,
All of them. Green Goblin is secretly just an anti-hero that's misunderstood because Gwen said no.
Black Adam is just an anti-hero. He's not.
We'll talk about Black Adam later.
Yes, I have bones to pick, but yeah, it's
and he has fine. Bones of yours to crush.
Look at me. My name's Nathan. I'm super cool. I got
super
jokes.
Sassy. I'm super sassy.
It's like we're doing this on Valentine's Day or something, man. Why are you so sassy?
Which I mean, this episode's still gonna release on our normal day of Wednesdays, but we're filming this Monday night. God, I hope there's no important news that drops on Tuesday, but knowing our luck, they'll be like, oh, hey, we've officially casted the Nightwing in the Batgirl movie, or Henry Cavill is confirmed to be back in Black Adam, and I'll just text Josh and God said, I hate you, Alfalfa.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, knowing our luck, there have been, and I know that we never put any stock in set photos, but there's been some stuff come out of the Batgirl.
Yes, I've seen them.
Set.
Which
and
no one's talking about the fact that that's a different bat suit.
Yeah, they're also super blurry, so you can't really tell. I don't know, dude. But like, when it comes to this, Russell Crowe's a good actor. I'm down for whatever.
Yeah.
Anything to make Aaron better.
Yeah, I don't dislike Aaron Taylor Johnson, but at the same time, he's never very high on my fancast wish list for just about anything. Like, people will be like, well, he was fine as Quicksilver. And no, I thought he was one of the worst parts of Age of Ultron. And there's a lot of things I don't like about Age of Ultron, but Quicksilver's definitely pretty high on the list of things that just don't work. And also, I don't hate 2014's Godzilla, but I hate him in 2014's Godzilla. I know some people are like, you don't need to care about the human characters in a Godzilla movie. You're just there for the action and monster destruction. It helps to care about the destruction more if you care about the human characters. You don't need it. Granted, he's better than Matthew. That's a lot of fish Broderick, but not great either way.
It was also pretty weird to see him play across. What's her name? Olsen.
Yeah, and then in the very next
brother
year,
and sister, and then they're married, and then a different movie like that.
Within a year apart.
They came out with a few months apart of each other, so that was a little weird, to say the least.
Hey, remember that time that Days of Future Past and Age of Ultron were coming out at around the same time, and we all crapped on Evan Peters' Quicksilver and thought he was going to be the crappy one because of his design, and then we saw that scene in Days of Future Past, and we're like, oh, cool, what's the MCU going to do? Oh, they're just going to kill him. He's a Hawkeye shield. Okay. He's literally Hawkeye's plot armor.
Yeah, he literally is. And we got to make a show, an okay show with him later. We got to keep him around.
More than okay.
I said what I said.
No,
I said what I said.
It is the best of the Disney Plus Marvel shows so far. What's better?
Nope.
There's
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
See, I think it drags in the middle.
Well, that's fine, but Hawkeye drags the whole way.
Yeah, it'll drag you along the concrete if you disparage the name anymore. Okay. We'll agree to disagree on this one. Fine. And in more random news of the week, let's just buy more random crap. And by that I mean the Lord of the Rings film and gaming rights? Who missed the paperwork on this one? Why is this not a bigger news topic that I don't see enough people talking about? The film and gaming rights for Lord of the Rings are up for sale, apparently? Like, I know some people are more looking at this from the gaming side of just like, oh, cool, someone can make more Lord of the Rings games. I'm going, It's fine. Return of the King was fun enough, and the Mordor games were fun enough, but why aren't more people talking about this? Like, this feels like we talk about WWE occasionally. It feels like those times that WWE wrestlers got released and no one apparently was paying attention to contracts, and people just either left or didn't realize it was a 30-day no-compete instead of a 90-day no-compete. So you have Malachi Black just randomly showing up for another company 60 days early. This feels like one of those situations of, okay, who in HR is getting fired? Or payroll, because Warner Brothers, this is an asset. Warner Brothers and New Line. This is probably an asset you would probably want to hold on to. Like, before Amazon, because if anybody's going to buy these, it's going to be Amazon, because Amazon's making the new show, which we'll talk about the trailer that dropped for it. I said what I said. This is a very lucrative franchise that is up for sale. Like, I would think you want to keep a hold of that HBO Max, considering, like, it's one of the few that doesn't leave your streaming service every couple months just to come back a few months after that. Josh, what do you see as the immediate and the long-term future of Lord of the Rings?
Video games. I think after this show, I mean, they could always just tell new stories, I guess, in film and stuff. But
I want to see the Silmarillion.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. No. I'm telling you, you don't. You really don't.
That's like saying I want the Bible turned into a movie and just the book of Leviticus.
Cringe.
Leviticus or Numbers. Just the boring analytical stuff.
It's 6 episodes. 6 episodes, 45 minutes long, of just like a guy in a chair, like explaining like the family trees and like it's the Vegas sense.
They get Wallace Shawn from Princess Bride. Inconceivable.
Anyway,
that was totally left field.
Yeah. The thing that I can see is the future, and I think games are in. I'm probably more biased than anybody when it comes to video games, but I'm thinking, when I see Lord of the Rings gaming rights up for sale, my first thought is, all right, Mordor was ended up kind of being like an MMO experience as opposed to a single player or something like that. How cool would it be?
Pretty cool
to have like a screw you. Have like a Jedi Order, oh my gosh,
Fallen Order,
Star Wars Fallen Order type game, but with Lord of the Rings. I don't know exactly how, like, what characters you vote. Make up a character, make up a completely new story, do something in the world post Return of the King. Because just because Sauron is dead doesn't mean that there's not evil in the world anymore. Like, there could be there's a lot of opportunity, I think, to tell new stories. I think if you're going to, it almost has to be post Return of the King. I think if you go backwards anymore, you're just going to get into the great content that is the Silmarillion, and it just whatever.
I feel like we've really have gotten a lot of stuff either in the main Lord of the Rings and Hobbit era, or we're going to be exploring the stuff before it with the new show. But I feel like there's already kind of established lore. I'm kind of with you of set it after Return of the King. Maybe see what the dwarves and the elves are doing now. See the reign of Aragorn actually lived out. See how good of a king he was. I would play a game even if it's just Aragorn doing his daily chores in Gondor. That's all I need, because Aragorn is literally film perfection, and I don't care. It's just him trimming the little tree on the top of the mountain.
Okay, stay with me here. I haven't. This is not a fully formed thought, as most of mine are. But let's. I think this works for game or for a show. Okay. Let's say, because Sam had like 1 billion kids, he has like 8 or something like that. But let's say you take one of his kids, and he decides, I don't want to chill in the Shire. I want to go on an adventure like my dad and my uncle Frodo. Not really uncle, but you get the vibe. Um, I want to go on an adventure like them. And so Sam's like, yeah, go for it, my dude. Here, I'm going to give you a guide, and they're going to go take you to see one of the coolest people I know, and takes him to Aragorn, and we get to experience the future, several years in the future of the world we left from Return of the King from a new set of eyes that has never seen this before. So we get to have like this new adventure in this world that we've already lived in. It would be really, really cool to see, because obviously we know Frodo leaves eventually.
He dies.
All the elves, yes,
more or less.
I think, if I remember right,
the elves leave too, don't they?
All the elves leave at some point,
except for Legolas.
I don't think
Legolas and Gimli like go around basically
stay
as like public relations guys to try and rebuild the friendship between dwarves and elves.
Yeah, but I think eventually all of the elves fade go off into the gray. It'd be interesting to see. We've already gotten a dwarven story with the Hobbit,
and it looks like we're getting an elven story.
It does, and honestly, and we'll get to it, but there's some cool that. While I do have an opinion of the trailer, there's some cool stuff that it does show. But yeah, I think I'm more of the mind of whoever buys this up, if it's not Amazon somehow. I see this going hopefully to more towards the future. It would be interesting to see how the world would look, and this is like, get me just wish list, if the elves ended up staying and you still have all of these magical creatures and you still have the dwarves. It would be interesting to see if you took like the Lord of the Rings and put it in a futuristic sci-fi world. Well, I'm going to take that back, because that's literally Bright.
Oh.
That Will Smith.
Yeah, movie. I remember Bright. I remember all Joel Edgerton movies.
I don't know. I think, I don't know. There's some stuff you could do that could be a lot of fun. You just gotta be pretty creative about it, I guess.
The only way I would want to follow Sam's daughter or son going on an adventure to see Aragorn is if the person guiding them, the tour guide, the person that's leading the expedition, is either Merry or Pippin or both. Or just one of them, and the other one's dead.
Oh no! Wait! Okay. I'm building this. We're building this. We're spitballing here, right? All right. So let's just let's pretend like most of Sam's kids find Merry and Pippin to be, they're not repulsive, but like they're the crazy uncles. Like we don't really.
They kind of are.
They kind of are. We don't really want to hang out with them, but
you can't
the son or daughter. Yeah, the son or daughter finds them to be like the most interesting people on the face of the planet and hangs out with them all the time. And maybe Sam kind of doesn't tell his kids about the adventure and focuses more on Frodo. He's like, yeah, like Frodo, your uncle went and saved the world.
He wrote a freaking book.
Shh, don't worry about it. Maybe the hobbits can't read. I don't know. Again, spitballing here, right? But Merry and Pippin are his like the kid's motivation to go out and explore the world outside the Shire. I don't know. Either that or it's just like a 45-minute film of
walking.
Sam's kids smoking with Merry and Pippin.
So, this last news topic should be good news. Should be. But it's kind of bizarre, at least how I'm interpreting it. Obi-Wan Kenobi, the series hitting Disney Plus, is finally coming, and it has a set release date. And it's the biggest botch Disney could have done. So, Obi-Wan Kenobi, not called Kenobi anymore. I could have sworn the show was just called Kenobi, but adding the Obi-Wan makes no difference to me. Will be dropping May 25th only on Disney Plus, which is a Wednesday. I understand that. But you know what else is a Wednesday this year? May the 4th! What the heck, guys? It is right there! It's right there! In the words of Mushu, it is right there! He was 3 feet in front of you! Like, oh, and I know some people are like, well, actually, the A New Hope came out May 25th, 1977. No one knows about that in casual conversation. Star Wars diehards know that. Cool. May the 4th is perfect. I know it's the hallmark of Star Wars celebrations, of it's just there to sell toys and make fake announcements that never actually end up happening. But come on. I know some people will be like, well, it probably would have crossed over with Moon Knight. Disney Plus, you're allowed to air more than one new thing per day. Like, that's my issue. That's one of my big issues with Disney Plus is they like drip feed new content. They're like, oh, you almost had to do something new there. But you got to be patient. You got to wait for this thing to be done. Well, I don't like this thing. Can I just get the other thing now? Nah, man. We're going to make you like this thing. You like Boba Fett? No, not really. Well, what if we throw Grogu, Luke Skywalker, and Cad Bane? I mean, that's a little better, but what about Boba Fett? You said you didn't like him. Oh, What about Moon Knight?
In our efforts to make Book of Boba Fett a better show, we've now made the past 2 seasons of Mandalorian feel like it didn't matter because Grogu ends up with Mando anyway. Spoilers. But like, okay, so?
But yeah, so this is coming not on May the 4th, but May 25th. I get that it's also a Star Wars Day, but more people celebrate May the 4th than May 25th. Like, it's not even an anniversary for A New Hope. If it was like the 40th anniversary, it's the 45th anniversary, but 45 isn't special. Yeah. Like 40 special, 50 special. Like 45 it's an accomplishment, but May the 4th would have been perfect, you idiots. There. But also, they showed this poster on like Thursday. And maybe it's just me getting my hopes up, but them releasing the poster before the Super Bowl, but not showing anything at the Super Bowl, was a huge mistake. Either you show this poster after the Super Bowl so you don't set that false expectation, or just say it's not going to be there. I felt like them releasing this a few days before the Super Bowl, like, oh, cool. We don't have a lot of confirmed trailers. This would just make sense. Just a little teaser to get people hyped up, because we've gotten Star Wars related teasers at the Super Bowl before. We've gotten hints to stuff in the past. It's far enough out that you can just show a little tease. Just have the sand dunes of Tatooine, and all of a sudden you see from the back someone walking up a hill. The robe moves from his side. He's holding Anakin's lightsaber. A more elegant weapon for a more civilized age, with Ewan McGregor saying that line. Cut to black. Kenobi drops May 25th on Disney Plus. That's it. Or just have him slowly saunter up into the dunes, stand right in front of the camera, Wes Anderson style. Hello there. That's it. Cut to black. Anything. But the fact that you showed this poster and then did nothing with it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame you for that. I do think it's a blunder not to drop it on May the 4th. I understand maybe I'm giving them graces. Maybe I'm not I'm waiting for a trailer to be hyped for this show, because I don't know what we're doing. But 45, sure, I guess the 45 years anniversary of A New Hope, whatever.
But if you have to explain the connection,
yeah, no, I agree. I'm with you. The thing that definitely makes no sense is the dropping of the poster and then not even a teaser. That's kind of weird. I'm not going to be like, how dare you? Because, like, you know, maybe
I know that again, it's the drip feeding thing, though. They're like, you got a trailer for Moon Knight. You got to get through Moon Knight before you get through this. I'm like, but the thing is, Moon Knight is Marvel and this is Star Wars. You can advertise two big properties at the same time. It's not going to eat into each other's market. It's all going to the same place. Like, you're allowed to advertise the thing. That's also something I'm just now noticing is Disney Plus very rarely shows trailers for the show that they have next until the one that before it is done. Like, we didn't get a whole lot of Boba material while Hawkeye was airing, only like directly right before it was done. Like, I don't know why, but they're so like, all right, here's the thing, then here's the thing, here's the thing, like sectioned off their new content. I'm just like, just stop. You're still better than Netflix, who just kind of dumps it and says, good luck finding it. But talking on the poster itself, it's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad, though. Like, I have to actually look at it to go, is that Ewan McGregor? Or is that just a stand-in? Is that Jesus? Close enough, because it's Ewan McGregor. Just put, like, The Last Temptation of Christ or something on the bottom instead.
That's literally... Where, it's not like one of us got rickrolled by a fan-made trailer that involved The Last Temptation of Christ for this movie, for this show. It wasn't me. Yeah, no, it wasn't me. I was like, bro, I literally was like, why does Obi-Wan have a turban? I don't understand. Like, oh, dude, it was bad. It was really bad. Anyway, yeah, the poster's fine. It okay.
Sure. When we eventually get,
it feels like they're hiding a lot,
which is probably a good thing.
Which is not neat. Yeah, but like also like give us something, and maybe it's because we are kind of like, yes, this is the show we've been asking for, like whet our appetite just a little bit, and they're just not. Maybe that is kind of makes me want to be like, no, like this is not a good poster.
At some point we will get the trailer. If I'm Disney, I play the super smart, just show some random cool Star Wars stuff. Maybe like he has a mission that takes him off Tatooine, because I don't think he's staying on Tatooine the whole time. Plus that concept art showed it looked like he's fighting Vader on Mustafar at some point. Towards the tail end of the trailer, you could have someone say the line, there's many ways that some would consider to be unnatural, but it's not Palpatine saying that line. It's Qui-Gon in Force Ghost form. Everyone freaks out about that. Cut to black. Kenobi, May 25th. That's it. That's the only thing you need for the trailer is hint at Qui-Gon, because I feel pretty confident that Force Ghost Qui-Gon will be in this one, because Liam Neeson has said he wants to come back to the franchise at some point. He enjoyed being on Phantom Menace, and y'all should appreciate his efforts in Phantom Menace. He's the closest thing to a main character in that movie. But also,
yeah,
even Revenge of the Sith teed up that Qui-Gon may come back someday, so he's got to learn how to be a Force Ghost somehow, which, you know, the idea of Force Ghosts kind of gets complicated in Star Wars of like, is this a thing you have to learn to do? And if so, how is Vader a Force Ghost? Or
how do you learn it from beyond the grave? You're dead. How do you, that's whatever, dude. Okay. See, like, I have a whole book series based on Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon's adventures before Phantom Menace, and I've been itching for that for a long time, but it is what it is. I mean, we know that Liam is still in fighting shape because he did this Taken ripoff Blacklight recently, so
yeah, he has not taken his health for granted.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we'll see what happens in the next couple months.
As always, this episode is sponsored by TeePublic, your one-stop shop for all things Uncharted Media related merch. So if you want Uncharted shirts, stickers, notepads, sweatshirts because it's a little cold out, whatever you want with Uncharted Media related stuff on it, TeePublic's your one-stop shop to get all that. So the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl weekend was great for trailers. The Super Bowl itself probably was not, if we're being honest, because I think Josh and I talked about this off mic before we started recording. I think companies are wising up to the fact that $7 million for a 30-second spot just might not be financially smart anymore. Like, that's why you see a lot of people dropping trailers around Super Bowl time, but not necessarily during that Super Bowl time slot, or be one of those people that cheats and releases your trailer during the Super Bowl pregame show because, like DC had no presence at the Super Bowl, but released a banger of a trailer that honestly, apart from one other one, is the shortest but the best trailer this weekend besides one other one. So we had this weekend, either at the Super Bowl or sometime around the Super Bowl, so sometime between Friday and Monday, Sonic 2, Jordan Peele's Nope, the new Lord of the Rings series, Jurassic World Dominion, the DC Heroes of the World. Is that what it was called?
As far as I'm aware, yeah.
And then we'll close out talking about the one that everyone's talking about, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Charles Xavier. I mean, madness. But let's start off with Sonic 2. And Sonic was one of those cases that a lot of other studios did this year, which was drop a 30-second little snippet and at the end say, watch the full trailer online. That's nothing new, but I feel like we saw a lot more of that this year, or had an abridged version. I like the 30-second version, but gosh, I like the full version even more. I like the first Sonic 2 trailer of, you can't have my power. Who said I need your power? And I'm going, oh, that's fun. This trailer was so cool. Heather and I were watching it going, this feels like the Sonic movie that the first movie should have been, of like the fun atmosphere, the was it the Emerald Diamonds? Is that what they're called?
The Chaos Emeralds?
Yeah, the Chaos Emeralds, having that show up, exotic fun locations, a gigantic Robotnik robot, and going, yay! Please tell me there's enslaved animals inside piloting that thing that you free at the end of this.
Yes!
A gigantic mustache from Jim Carrey. This just felt like cheesy Sonic fun, and I'm going, okay, now I can understand why Josh is so hyped for this movie. Like, the first trailer was fine. The first trailer was okay. This second trailer is really good and really fun, and I'm super amped for Sonic 2 now.
Dude, we're absolutely, like, I'm so stoked. And if anything, the trailer confirms to me that we're just heading in the direction of Shadow, and I get more excited about that. I just hope Amy doesn't come around.
Yeah, I was about to say, Amy confirmed. What, would you rather have Sonic fall in love with a human?
That's worse. That's somehow worse.
That's so much worse.
As much as I don't like Amy as a character. But yeah. I like this trailer was so much fun. The more I hear of Idris Elba as Knuckles, the more and more I love it. And the more and more I think at some point, if they don't make reference to the meme, I'd be really surprised. Just the way that he's like, his cadence works. Like, at some point, he's have to, like, I know the way. Like, that's gotta happen at some point now.
They get trapped in that pyramid with the Chaos Emerald and everything's crumbling down around them. It looks at Sonic. Do you know the way out of here? And Sonic's like, say that again? Well, like,
I know the way.
There's a couple lines in this trailer that Heather and I both, like, actually burst out laughing of, like, all right there, Winter Soldier. I'm like, that's a good... Eat your heart out, Shaun White, which is...
I popped so hard for that.
Which is weird how prophetic that joke was, because this is Shaun White's last Olympics. I'm going...
And he did really well, too. Like, oh, man. Like,
even though he's not the flying tomato anymore.
Thank God. But, dude, yeah. Great trailer, great jokes. The lady is like, there's two of them now? Like, great. So much fun. I'm so excited for this. If this does not exist on our plane of existence, and this is just in Sonic's, like, weird, like, Chaos Emerald world, don't care. I'm here for it. I'm absolutely hyped for this movie, which is something I probably wouldn't think I would have said a year ago. Like, God, dude, this movie has come. The Sonic movie franchise, which is funny to say out loud, has come around so hard. And like, there's all the conspiracy theories like that. You know, they messed up the first design on Sonic.
I believe that
the movie. Yeah, I know. But like, the first movie's a lot of fun. It's very generic, but it's a lot of fun. And this one, I think they're leaning harder into their source material, and I just get so much. It just hypes me up so hard for it.
So as much as I'm excited to see Knuckles and Tails in this, I feel like this year of all years, they missed a prime opportunity for something. Imagine if we hadn't gotten a Sonic trailer at all yet, and Sonic comes out and starts doing his adventure for first teaser, and all of a sudden they're just like, in 2022 we're getting back to normal. We're welcoming back the Winter Olympics. This year, Sonic's competing in the Winter Olympics, and Josh knows where I'm going with this. And all of a sudden, you see the denim overalls of one plumber, Mario Sonic at the Olympics. Crossover that we all need, dang it.
I hate it.
The timing fits so well this year.
I hate that this time next year we could be having a conversation where that could be an actual possibility.
And we go, why wasn't the sequel Sonic at the Olympics?
Oh my gosh.
He's already snowboarding in the trailer. Why couldn't it be against Mario?
I hate it. I hate this so much. Oh
Bowser
my gosh.
teams up with Robotnik.
Oh man.
Ooh. Robotnik teams up with the magic turtle guy. Who's the one that casts spells at you in Yoshi's Island and makes the baby go off your back? The one that's the Koopa wizard. Imagine if he teams up with Robotnik, because he's the real mastermind, not Bowser. Bowser's a pansy.
Anytime you can just be like thrown around by your tail, you're not as strong as you think you are, bud.
Heyo.
Oh man, let's go with a big old nope on that phrase right there, buddy.
Yeah. So nope. Nope. Nope is a. So I said none of the trailers were out and out bad except for one, which isn't this trailer, but if there's a middle of the road trailer for me, it's Nope. And I know a lot of people love this trailer. That's awesome. And I know a lot of people love Jordan Peele movies, which is awesome. I haven't loved any of Jordan Peele's movies yet, including Get Out. And maybe it's because I saw it later, because I kept hearing about it. And so I finally saw it and I was just like, okay, fine. Like, I think Get Out's a little overrated. I know some people are just like, oh, it's horror with a political message. I'm going, is this your first horror movie?
That's horror.
Yeah,
that's just horror, buddy.
Is this your first horror movie? It was like casual movie audiences were introduced to horror through Get Out, which is, if that's the case, that is awesome. I'm glad to welcome you to this genre. But for me, Get Out failed to be scary. But that also could be coming from a white guy's perspective, because I don't think the story is tailored to me. And that is totally fine. Just like I don't think Candyman is tailored towards me. And that is totally fine. That being said, don't care what demographic you fall into. Us was a colossal disappointment for me. Both the HHN house and the movie I thought were very much failed on the fantastic premise. Like, Us had some great trailers, like when they're in the car, I got 5 on it, and then you see the movie, you're just like, none of this makes any sense. So I was already coming into Nope with low expectations, and I'll say this about the trailer. I appreciate that having seen the trailer, I still don't know what this movie's about. That's a good thing. But on the flip side, I don't know what this movie's about. Like, I get some sense of maybe it's an alien invasion. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
It's secretly a Signs sequel, and M. Night Shyamalan is using Jordan Peele as a pen name.
That would be. I'm not against that idea. That's not good that I'm not against that idea. So the thing about there's a lot of there's not disturbing imagery, but it's interesting. Like, I never thought that having a bunch of inflatable flaily arm guys in a field would be ominous, but for some reason it kind of is.
Clearly, you didn't watch enough Bailey matches in NXT.
It's just cool. I don't know, man. Don't call me out on that Bailey thing. No, sir. Don't do it. It's fine. I also think it's probably going to be aliens, which I don't hate. It's something different for Jordan to tackle. What I do appreciate is every movie is that Jordan's put out has been completely different than the one before.
Yes, I'll
They're
absolutely give him credit on that.
yeah, like he's not M. Night Shyamalan, who's more or less retreading the same story over and over and over and over and over again. Um, he's trying different things, both in story and in technique, every single time, and I really appreciate that. I do like it that he is using this as an opportunity to kind of tell stories of the Black community in different industries. Had no idea that like a Black, I don't know how to describe, like Hollywood equestrian was really a thing. Like, and that's cool that that's an actual historical thing. That's really, I'm down with that. I just have no idea what this movie's about. It's
Yeah.
obviously something. It's something in the sky. At one point, it looks like a giant eyeball in the sky, and that's kind of weird. I swear, if we go full turtle floating through space on this, I might love this movie simply on that fact.
No, it's the devil's anus from Thor Ragnarok, and
No!
all of a
No,
sudden,
no, 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 no.
Thor and Loki and Hulk are just gonna come crashing in. And that's how you get Jordan Peele, Lakeith Stanfield, and Keke Palmer in the MCU, and just okay, what happened? Like, I don't know. Also, something I struggle with Jordan Peele is I love Key and Peele's comedy, and his movies clearly have some dark humor to them at times, and I think it's not always a good balance of like, I don't want to say MCU syndrome of like make everything funny, but I think sometimes he knows humor so well, and I think sometimes he just misplaces it in some of his movies. But I think one of my favorite things about Jordan Peele, though, is you brought it up. He has become a powerful voice in Black filmmaking, not just as a director himself, but has elevated others to a household status. Like Nia DaCosta just did Candyman. While it's not my favorite movie that I've seen in recent memories, she's now a pretty well-known director. Now she's doing the Captain Marvel sequel and hopefully saving that character. He's overseen other Black stories in Hollywood recently, and I think that's awesome to get more people coming to the table with diverse backgrounds and storytelling perspectives. So while I'm not overly ambitious and excited to see this movie, it's like it's like the Palpatine meme of, we'll pay attention to your career with great interest. Like, I will always be interested in what Jordan Peele's doing next, because he feels like one of the few fresh voices out there, like you said, truly trying different things. So while I haven't loved his first two so far, it's nothing new. I'm not going to always love everything a director does. As much as I love Christopher Nolan, don't love everything he's done. In fact, he hasn't had a great movie since 2010. He's had a bunch of okay ones since Inception, but like no director bats 1,000 except, no, I was about to say, except for the guy that did Haunting of Hill House, Mike Flanagan. But even then, Bly Manor exists. So yeah, Nope. Nope, I've come around on. I'm still not overly excited for it. I'll kind of wait and see. It just be better than Us. That's all I ask.
Well, and see, like, even the thing with Us it did the thing where the thing that took me out of it, I was fairly on board, even if I didn't, before you start kind of thinking about the how everything works in a real life scenario. It unfortunately did the thing where it doesn't hide information in plain sight from you. It just doesn't tell you straight up. Just doesn't tell you information, and so you're like, oh, okay. So I couldn't figure that story point out if I wanted to. That's kind of okay. That's not a twist. That's just mean. But then again, having like clones take over the planet, that's a fairly original idea. It's kind of cool. Yeah, but I'm with you. I'm just interested in Nope. I at the very least, I'll check it out. You know what I mean? I'll go see it.
Yeah.
Maybe like end of the first week or something like that.
Speaking of clones taking over the world, Jurassic World Dominion. God, that clone girl is still alive. I was really hoping they wouldn't bring her back, because I've said it on the podcast before. I hated Fallen Kingdom, and a lot of it was the stupidity of the characters. Like, they weren't the most well-written characters in the first Jurassic World, but they weren't idiots for the most part. And Fallen Kingdom turned them into idiots or completely flipped their characteristics around. Like, Owen, the character that actually cared to nurture for the animals, is the one calling them things, and Claire, the one that is all about the financials, is the one that cares about the creatures now.
Yeah.
For some reason, that's flipped. But my big issue was the weird plot twist that a girl isn't a twin or anything. She's just a clone. And I'm going, the reason I didn't see this plot twist coming is because it was so dumb and out of left field that I didn't think you would actually do something that stupid. And then the stupid clone girl has to go condemn all of humanity to die by unleashing all the dinosaurs to kill us all. So I was a little disappointed to see she's coming back. Maybe she'll get eaten. I know that's horrible to say. That girl, I'm sure, is a fine actress. She's just a terrible character, and maybe Colin Trevorrow can fix it this time around. But the Jurassic World Dominion trailer, it was okay. I didn't like it the first time I saw it, and then the more I watch it, the more I like it. Here's why I didn't like it the first time I watched it. Is because it relies a lot on nostalgia, which is not a bad idea. But the first time I saw it, I thought when Dr. Grant and Dr. Sattler are reunited, felt so forced of like, oh, hey, you remember these guys? They were almost a thing. You want them to be a thing again? That's actually genuinely like all I'm asking in Dominion is just have Dr. Grant and Dr. Sattler get together finally. Like, why didn't they end up together at the end of the first Jurassic Park? That was like Alan's whole arc is, you like kids? You like kids? No. You like kids? You like kids? No. How about this kid that can't die? Do you like him? I've tried to kill him. He can't die. I guess I'll keep him. All right. You like kids now? I'm going to leave you and end up with somebody else in Jurassic Park 3 for some reason. I just want Grant and Sattler together. I don't even care that much about this franchise, but I want them together. It's cool to see the old and the new cast together. It also kind of points out that the new cast doesn't have their version of Jeff Goldblum. Like, I guess you could say Dr. Sattler and Dr. Grant are Claire and Owen in the new ones, but we don't have an Ian Malcolm of the group. Like,
correct.
Because you
can't replace Jeff.
What if? What if you got Owen Wilson to be an Ian Malcolm type and just sees all the dinosaurs? Oh, wow. Yeah, look at those all long necks there. Oh, yeah. Wow. I just want Owen Wilson to ride a dinosaur, man. How complicated is that?
Oh, man.
We already have one Owen in the franchise.
Yes, you're not wrong. No, yeah, it's fine. It's got some cool imagery. I was with you. I think the nostalgia trip feels a little forced. I might have saved that for, I don't know, a second trailer, just to kind of. But like then again, the story seems kind of dependent upon the old characters coming back. Don't know why, but maybe that will be revealed sooner or later. That being said, something that I took away from the trailer that I don't know is on purpose, but it clearly states this is the end of the Jurassic era.
Yes. So they've said that they're going to make more Jurassic movies, but I think this is the end of the Jurassic World stuff. We're going to go
the
next trilogy.
This is the spacious air of Park. Like
somehow at the end of Jurassic World Dominion, Claire, Owen, and maybe even the clone girl will somehow get sucked into a time machine by Dr. Wu, and they'll get sent back to the Cretaceous period, Cretaceous Park, and they have to survive in dinosaur times and find a way back and fix their parts.
Like,
okay, I just convinced myself that I want that now.
I see, but like that's the thing. Like, what do you do? Because I don't think that's what they mean. But at the same time, it's like, so what? Now you're gonna pretend like you didn't take dinosaurs from different time periods and just throw them all at the same time? Okay, we are pretending that. Okay, cool. So now, yeah, it's just weird. Because then all of a sudden, I don't want this. Oh my gosh, having like a one running around with like woolly mammoths and giant sloths and stuff. Like
Owen finds an
cringe.
ancient descendant of Blue, finds the original DNA of Blue, and rides it, making a Praptor. A Chris Praptor.
Basically, we just get a live action Ice Age, but with Chris Pratt being there. It's not a terrible idea, but it's not a good idea.
We never promise good ideas on this show. We just promise ideas.
Hey, it's been proven that Ice Age will bastardize its own content.
Yeah, by casting Josh Peck.
By making a Buck movie.
No, dude. That's... Ooh, I'm not off the time travel thing. We send Dr. Wu. We send Dr. Wu back in time. Nature fixes itself, basically. If you're the one that wanted to create the dinosaurs, well, now you can live among them. Immediately gets eaten by a T-Rex. Okay, they've kept Dr. Wu alive for a really long time in this franchise. And normally, because Jurassic Park is pretty simple storytelling, the bad guy, the worse they are, the bigger and more grotesque their death is. They've dragged this out. Like, this man has to have, like, his intestines ripped out or something to match the level of, like, staying power that he's had so far. Like, Vincent D'Onofrio got eaten in his first movie, Jurassic World. Whoever the bad guy in Fallen Kingdom was, I already forgot. The guy that killed the guy from Babe, I mean. That's sleazeball.
It's Pig now. That's canon. That's canon. Sorry.
No, I'd rather
canon
watch Pig than Babe. As much as Babe is awesome. But he died. But Dr. Wu was in the first Jurassic Park and all the World movies so far. So, like, he's got to have a pretty legit death. Like, I know we'll never get into R-rated territory, but it's also going to be hard to beat the lawyer getting eaten on the toilet, because that's just perfection right there.
Chef's kiss.
Blue just rips out his entrails and just... He's like... He gets Darth Maul and gets dragged down the street by his spleen or something. That
what
got
if
dark.
He decides to make size accurate raptors, and so it's a bunch of little tiny raptors that all like slowly tear him apart.
Oh.
Yes, people, raptors were actually the size of chickens.
Or Jurassic,
like, come on.
Jurassic World fully jumps the shark, and Samuel L. Jackson with a robotic arm comes back riding a raptor. Clever girls indeed. And it eats Dr. Wu. Clearly we care a great deal about Jurassic Park and its sanctity.
I mean, these are better stories than them doing the same story over and over and over again.
I do kind of worry that this franchise is ending around the same time as another Universal franchise that they've talked about crossing over at some point. A certain Vin Diesel-led franchise. That's not Universal. But Universal has teased that they're like, oh yeah, we think it'd be cool to cross over Jurassic Park and Fast and Furious. And going, God is dead. You just see Vin Diesel riding into battle. This raptor is family. And all of a sudden, from stage right comes The Rock on a woolly mammoth.
See, that's the thing.
Rock bottom.
I would pay actual real money to see The Rock punch a T-Rex in the face.
I would too. That sounds awesome.
That sounds so cool. I can't. There's no way. But that being said, this trailer's fine.
Yeah, we got so sidetracked.
Yeah, we got so sidetracked. Like, how do we make this series better?
By abandoning its core principles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Star Wars did in the sequel trilogy. Oh, so speaking of abandoning your core principles, Lord of the Rings also dropped its trailer today during Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm ready to... okay, this is the one trailer I didn't like. I welcome your booze and vitriol because I know a lot of people like this trailer. I didn't enjoy it. It's not bad, but it's not good either. Primarily because for me, never once did it feel like Lord of the Rings. It kind of felt like generic fantasy. It felt like...
Yep.
It felt like The Witcher with a bigger budget. It felt like any other fantasy series. And I know some people are like, oh, it definitely has that Lord of the Rings vibe. I'm like, where? Because I'm used to Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings having a very specific aesthetic, very much practical effects. Everything is kind of much more earthy and grounded. Things have smudges and stains and feel very much handmade, not pristine CG. Like, I understand that there's even CG in the original trilogy. Those weren't actually ghosts in Return of the King. Sorry.
What? No way.
But they balanced out the practical and CG. This feels very CG heavy. And also, I understand that we're not supposed to know any of these characters going into it, except for maybe there's a young lady Galadriel, supposedly. But I'm looking at this going, I'm not getting a sense of anything here, and also this feels incredibly generic, which I've had my reservations about this show for a while, from comments that Amazon have said, of not out and out saying it, but kind of implying that they want this to be their Game of Thrones, to which I'm going, the content is so different in Game of Thrones than Lord of the Rings. You can't just have Game of Thrones with a Lord of the Rings skin on it. I'm sorry, Steven Soderbergh, but sex doesn't really factor into Lord of the Rings, really. You can factor that into Game of Thrones with manipulation and power and everything else, but I don't need adult content in Lord of the Rings like that. Lord of the Rings has been and always will be, it should be at least, PG-13 at most, because what's the Star Wars adage? It's mainly targeted for children. Like, Narnia is for kids, but Lord of the Rings is for teenagers. That's the core demographic of, like, this is not the intended audience, but more or less like the age range or the reading level is teenagers. There's not mature content. And I've been worried from day one with Amazon that would be the case, but also I've been worried that they just bought this for the brand recognition that is Lord of the Rings, which granted did take a hit with The Hobbit, because for a while there it was like the holy trinity that is the original Lord of the Rings extended edition, not theatrical, extended editions. But now there's like a little asterisk of Lord of the Rings. Oh yeah, there's the Hobbit over there. He's the kid that you leave with a helmet, basically, and make sure that he doesn't have access to the peanut butter, or else he's just gonna ruin everything. So I don't know where the peanut butter thing came from, but
yeah, I don't know either. That was weird.
I've worried about this, and this trailer didn't get rid of those worries, because I never got the sense that it was Lord of the Rings. I got the sense that it was Amazon's big budget fantasy series. Like, how is this different from Wheel of Time or Game of Thrones or Witcher, or is it at all, which is the most concerning thing?
Yeah. And see, like, that's the thing when it comes to fantasy and sci-fi, is you have to stick with a specific look in order to make sure that it feels different. That being said, the couple dwarves that they show in this trailer, they look specifically like Hobbit dwarves. And so I was like, okay, cool. There's some cool stuff that does happen in this trailer. Like, there's that elven archer that grabs an arrow out of the air and then shoots it back. Like, dude, I would have preferred Legolas do that kind of stuff than bounding up falling rocks. Like, still not over it. But like, there's just, I'm with you though. There's a lot of stuff that looks like they took some unused test footage from The Witcher and put a clean filter over it. It just looks, everyone looks so clean,
yeah,
so pristine, and like, I'm just as nervous as you are, and as I just don't like the name Rings of Power. I don't like that there is no real reveal of who anybody is, so we can get any kind of grounding sense of what we're going to be seeing. I don't think this tale of the rise of the Rings of Power is well known enough, details wise, in order to make us feel like we know what we're getting into. So like, just to have like two trailers that, I don't know, nothing really happens in, it just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I'm with you of like it's just generic. And I'm worried about it. Now, enough negativity. Let's get to the fun stuff. The last two trailers. And I'll pull up some screenshots of the trailers as we talk about these because oh boy. We'll first talk about the DC and then we'll end up with Doctor Strange because that's obviously the thing that everyone wants to talk about. But bro, that DC trailer comes out of nowhere like an RKO and hits like an RKO because I was not expecting to be felt as much as I felt in those 60 seconds. Like that minute spot was all it needed. So this like 60-second spot was there to showcase the 4 movies that are coming out from DC in 2022, which is an interesting choice, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. They're missing one. They advertised some of the Batgirl, Flash, Black Adam, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Most of the footage seemed like Black Adam. Now, you can kind of explain that one because The Rock had a huge presence at the Super Bowl, which, okay, I have a bone to pick with that real quick. The Rock has this great entrance for the beginning of the Super Bowl, whatever. He's doing some of his WWE shtick, and he goes, in front of the millions, but doesn't pause for the crowd to go, and millions. Like, come on, Rock. We wanted to respond back to you. Like, I so rarely ever get caught up in the Rock spiel, but there's some things I will respond to when you go like, and the most electrifying game of the season for all the millions
and millions.
Like, it's right there. Like, we know. But so The Rock had some footage for Black Adam. We didn't get a lot of for the Batman primarily because it's right around the corner. They're not going to share a ton.
It literally is.
They showed less than 3 weeks, man. Dude,
I'm so stoked.
I got my tickets for opening night at a Dolby Cinema near us. It's my first time seeing a Dolby movie, so I'm super, super excited. We got a little bit of The Flash, and we got the least amount from Aquaman, but that makes sense because it's the furthest away. Let's first talk about The Flash because, oh my god, look at how beautiful that is. I love that so many people are just like, the Flash suit looks bad. Bring back the Zack Snyder one. Like, first of all, let's not.
Please don't.
I hated that one so much.
Please don't.
And so many people are like crapping on it. I'm just like, look how bad the cowl looks. I'm going, it's just the angle. Which, to be fair, they show it again in one of the trailers, and the angle is bad. But that picture, where it's a different angle, going, oh, that looks like the Flash. Not only that, but it looks like the cover of a specific Flash. It kind of looks like Flash Rebirth's cover. I might pull that up in a little bit here where Josh starts talking about it. But he brings down little lenses. I'm going, that's incredibly smart. It's basically just built-in sunglasses for the Flash when he's running so nothing gets in his eyes. That's genius. That's really, really smart. We didn't get a ton for the Flash, but that one single look at it, I'm going, that's just immediately better. That just looks better. It's a much better angle. I'm really liking how the lines are looking. The textured look fits really well with like how the Man of Steel suit looked, and it looks homemade, but still like with some precision as opposed to cobbled together ice skater pieces and random armor. However, in terms of like excitement level for the 4 trailers, this is 4th. Because we just got this one shot. Admittedly, it looks amazing, and it looks like the Flash. Then you get the Batman, which is really nothing new. But with the Batman, nothing was shown. But in an interview recently, Robert Pattinson did come out and say, "Oh yeah, for the sequel, I would love to fight the Court of Owls." And I'm going, "Oh, would you now?" Would you now?
So they're not in this one. Got it. Okay.
Or are you just saying that because you don't want to tell us that the Court of Owls are secretly the main villains in this movie that Riddler's trying to expose to the world? Because I refuse to let that go because there's too many clues that it's actually in there. Then you get Aquaman again. Not much there. You get the what was it, the stealth suit, and I'm going, why did you get rid of the perfect golden and orange? The orange and green, I mean. But then Black Adam had to go, and in the words of Dumb and Dumber, and totally redeem yourself by showing us the coolest costumes yet with, first of all, this beautiful, beautiful man that is Kent Nelson's Dr. Fate. Oh,
It's so good.
except for once you see it, you can't unsee it. Oh, no, he might actually. So the first time I saw it, it looked like he didn't have eye holes. But from this angle, it looks like he does. But in this picture, it doesn't. It doesn't look like he has eyes. It just looks like a helmet. But, dude, Dr. Fate has never looked better.
He talks in the trailer, and it's so good. Oh, my gosh. I just, like, there's been this theme lately on the interwebs of people being like, oh, but this actor is only known for these things. They're going to be terrible. Robert Pattinson being one of them. He's only, Cedric Diggory and the Edward in Twilight. He's going to be bad. Oh, so what you're telling me is you don't watch movies and you haven't seen anything else. Got it.
The Mamma Mia guy is Dr. Fate?
Exactly. It's Piers freaking Brosnan, bro. Like, get out of here.
He looks so good. Dr. Fate has never looked better. But then,
speaking of looking good,
I freaked out seeing Dr. Fate. I almost wept tears of joy seeing this beautiful, beautiful creature known as the Thanagarian legend, Hawkman. Because it really seems like they're going to be going with a Thanagarian origin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aldous Hodge, I had my issues with The Invisible Man primarily because I love the original so much and it didn't really follow that storyline, but as a movie, it was pretty good. But Aldous Hodge was one of my favorite characters in that movie, so I was super excited when he got cast. Oh, that man is jacked. That man has triceps on top of triceps. But also, like, Hawkman kind of gets made fun of sometimes for the wings. No. You cannot make fun of something this regal and majestic. That is not Hawkman. That is Eagle King. That is beautiful. That, like, the wings look like actual, like, practical wings as opposed to, like, an armor. I thought they might go with, like, an armored texture. But they are not embarrassed by the winged helmet or the big furrowing wings. It looks gorgeous. Like, whoever the costume designer is for this, you were not paid enough. I don't care if you got paid half of Jeff Bezos' salary for a year. You still did not get paid enough because Black Adam looks awesome in this trailer. Hawkman looks outstanding. Atom Smasher and Cyclone both look outstanding. Now all that's missing is a post-credit scene where Jay Garrick shows up with the tin hat because why not? Well, actually, no, I still think the post-credit scene for this is going to be Henry Cavill Superman showing up, but we'll talk about that at another date.
Yeah, either that or OG Hal Jordan, one of the two. Which is not, I wouldn't be against it, but yeah, dude, this thing is so gorgeous. There's so much here. I mean, I still am a little on the fence about Black Adam being an anti-hero because it doesn't quite make sense with what he traditionally is. They're gonna have to be really convincing in their storytelling for me to be like, oh, okay, cool. So he's a villain like Warmonger, where he wants the same thing as everybody else, but how he wants to get there is different. So we'll see what happens. I don't know about that, but like, gosh, Dr. Fate looks good. Goodness, Hawkman looks good. Just the new Flash stuff. I'm excited for Batman. I think if anything, this was a DC trailer that was all about hype. And in a way, this is a hype to be like, guys, depending on your opinions, Zack Snyder is out and we're going with this direction now. And honestly, I don't hate it. There's such an assortment of colors, an assortment of characters that I feel that this is just like, we're just going to be having fun here. We're going to embrace the fact that these are comic book characters and just go with it.
Oh, yeah. I know some people are just like, well, there's been some stuff circulating about the Flash and what's going to do to the universe and the timeline. I'm going, I don't care. I want different styles. It's okay. And some people are like, are you okay with an old Batman and basically no Superman? I'm going, if it means getting other characters' times to shine and we still keep their core aspects, fine with me. There's so many cool and interesting DC characters that have not been explored yet. So I'm excited to see the Justice Society, Black Adam. The Flash looks outstanding. I would not be surprised at all if we get a Black Adam trailer attached to the Batman, just because Black Adam is the next one. I think the Flash is October and then Aquaman is December. However, it is interesting that they showed nothing from Batgirl. That could be one of 3 factors. 1, they're currently still filming it, as we saw a certain Keaton on set recently in suit. 2, it could be sticking to HBO Max. I doubt it, because there have been some rumblings that Discovery, after the merger, may want to bump it to theaters because it might be directly tied into The Flash, and maybe this Grayson fan is hoping, but there have been some rumors that quite a few things will be spun out of this Batgirl movie, so maybe they will want a theatrical release for this. And 3, maybe they're still on the fence of whether or not this will even come out in 2022. Granted, some of the set photos looks like it's set at Christmas time, so I would think they do have a set deadline for when this movie should come out, but maybe not. So maybe they're still on the fence of if it's 2022 or not. Maybe they're on the fence if it's theatrical or not. And that explains why there's no Batgirl. But as a whole, for 60 seconds, this is a darn good trailer. Like, this is what they should have shown at Fandom last year. Like, Fandom wasn't bad last year, but I feel like it was missing some of like the big punches. This year's Fandom, if they have it, when they have it, it's been a huge success the past 2 years. When they have it, I'm expecting some big punches to be thrown. However, DC Fandom would have won the weekend in terms of coolest trailer had a certain, I don't know, bald-headed, wheelchair-bound, beautiful man's voice graced our eardrums this weekend with the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness trailer, which, okay, I'll be honest. Leading up to this trailer, I didn't get the sense of multiverse or madness, because they kept describing it as, this is the MCU's first horror movie. This is the MCU's first horror movie, and how scary it is and how creepy it is. Or we're really going to have fun with the multiverse and how wacky the story is going to be. And I'm like, yeah, sure, Jan. I got horror vibes from this. Some of the imagery, like when Doctor Strange is like going through the weird space and his face like splitting in multiple different directions when Thanos like snapped Drax into those like clay pieces. That's exactly what it looked like to me. Or Zombie Strange showing up a couple different times. Wanda going full mental. Okay, I'm buying the horror elements here. Also, maybe because I'm overanalyzing everything, I feel like there's a detail here that people are not talking about nearly enough. Everyone's just kind of assuming, and probably rightly so, that Wanda is the main villain. Like, Scarlet Witch has gone full evil. And rightly so, she's a horrible person. Like, we all saw WandaVision, and you could try and pass it off as whatever of, oh, you cope however you want. No, she's definitely a bad person. She's definitely evil now. I think so many people are focused on that I think the first line of the trailer gives away a big detail of, I've been having nightmares. I wouldn't be surprised if Nightmare is a secondary villain in this movie. I think so many people are distracted by the Wanda thing and the evil Doctor Strange that showed up in What If. There was rumors originally of Nightmare being the villain for Doctor Strange 2. So maybe he still is in some capacity. Maybe Nightmare is the one giving Doctor Strange these visions, which sets the story in motion. Like, maybe he's not a full figure in this, but maybe he's the catalyst for the story starting. We get a lot of trippy visuals, and it seems like Doctor Strange, because he's tampered with too much stuff, is getting arrested by what seems like the Illuminati. And we hear, perhaps we should tell him, but it's not a voice we've ever heard in the MCU before. That voice absolutely belongs to Jean-Luc Picard. It's a Star Trek crossover. And then that's how you bring in Tom Hardy's Venom, because he was the clone in Insurrection. It's all connected, man. It's all connected. The FBI's watching everything. No, obviously it's Professor X. And I appreciate it that they didn't show it. They're like, okay, you know the voice, will give you this one, because Marvel is always aware of what's happening with the fan bubble. And unfortunately, I feel like it was almost a year ago that I think it got leaked via some concept art that Doctor Strange would be arrested by some Ultron bots and presented to Professor X. Well, now we've seen that in this trailer, so that we know that concept art was real. Stop leaking stuff, people. I'm not actively seeking out spoilers, but stop posting them if you have them. Those aren't scoops. Those are spoilers. I hate the internet sometimes. But I think Marvel purposely put that in the trailer as to say, okay, yeah, you knew about that surprise. We've got more for you, which kind of makes me think Professor X isn't a huge factor in this, and that's why they didn't save it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. There's just so much to break down in that scene you're talking about. It definitely looks like Bishop is in the back corner of it.
That's Mordo. That's Baron Mordo, because he has the dreads too, and he's the one arresting him and fighting him when he tries to escape.
Nah, it's gotta be Bishop. No, time travel, baby.
You mean the character? You mean the character that only appeared in one X-Men movie that had like one line in an X-Men movie, and not, the dude that was previously set up in a Doctor Strange movie and appears in this trailer in the shot right before this with dreads.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
it's Bishop. No.
Yeah, Tom Hardy. Yes, Mr. Tom Hardy's Wolverine.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Oh yeah, that is fair game for this movie.
That is totally fair game for this movie. I'm seeing rumors and like stuff that very well could be possible of a Iron Man alternate, which would be
okay. Let's not. I'm confident on who it is, so let's not say who it is. Have you heard who it is?
Do you? Yeah.
I am like 90% confident who it is, so I don't want to spoil that for people out there. But let's just say I'm with Josh. I think there will be an alternate Iron Man, but I don't want to say who will be playing that
I don't think
Iron
he's going to
Man.
be good. Let me say that. I don't think he'll be good.
No.
I think he's going to be an evil. Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh,
he's got to be evil.
I was saying the actor's performance. I think it's just too much of fan casting. I think he'll be a good guy, but I don't think these Illuminati guys are going to last very long. I think
no.
So for those that don't know, the Illuminati are like a secret organization in Marvel Comics of like the smartest men in the Marvel universe of Professor X, Iron Man, Namor. I feel like Black Panther was in it at one point or another. And basically they make like the really tough choices in the universe of like, is one life more valuable than millions and billions, and make the hard choices to protect the multiverse, so to speak. I would not be surprised if these are all characters from previous Marvel movies or fan castings. We've heard some fantastic theories out there about certain characters showing up. I wouldn't be surprised if that character's in there, your Iron Man variant, and maybe some others, but they won't last long. That way, when we introduce those characters proper into the MCU, we'll go, okay, well, you had the thing that you wanted for a little bit, but we have other plans for that.
Yeah.
Before we dive into the rest of the trailer, if you had to guess, like a top 5 of things that you can see or want to see, or your predictions for cameos in this, because supposedly it's going to be cameos galore in this movie. If you have a top 5 of cameos that you expect, what would it be? Now that we can rule out Professor X.
Yeah. I can totally see both Deadpool and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine showing up as best friends. I would be totally down for that.
Or Deadpool and the actual actor Hugh Jackman.
Yes. Oh, even better. Even better. That would be, and see, that would be so much, that would be par for Deadpool, and I would love that. I'm gonna make a prediction. I think the Wanda that's in the, and I've said this before, I think the Wanda that's in the Scarlet Witch costume is not the Wanda from WandaVision. I don't think that's the Wanda from our universe. Based on when she says, we did the same thing. Yeah, I'm painted to be a villain. She doesn't really do the same thing as
Well,
she
I think
doesn't.
that's more of
I
her
guess
just making
maybe she
excuses.
alters reality.
I think she's just making
I mean,
excuses.
I agree. She is, but yeah, I'm not entirely convinced that that's our Wanda. Um, I think mutants are going to be a thing that comes from this movie. I
Oh,
think you and I have been saying
absolutely.
that. Kelsey Grammer, yeah. I think his beast showing up would
Yes,
be
please.
on
Yes, please.
the Illuminati. On the Illuminati
Ooh,
would
if
be
he's on the
so
Illuminati, that would. Why hasn't he been on the
Dude.
roster in the past? Somebody
Don't
make a
know.
Frasier joke.
Don't know.
Somebody make a Frasier joke.
That would be really cool. Only because I'm going to speak this into existence as long as I live. Tom Hardy is Wolverine. If you give me a little cameo as it, I'll shut up about it. That's all I need.
Okay, I will go because I refuse to let this die like Josh with Tom Hardy as Wolverine.
Yeah.
Nicolas frickin' Cage returning as Ghost Rider.
Let's do it. Absolutely.
Mr. Fantastic with, our boy John Krasinski, at least for a little bit. I'll stick with that. Some other X-Men characters. I'll say Hugh Jackman. Maybe.
Yeah.
If not Hugh Jackman, Deadpool, because I think they will bring in Deadpool. Deadpool makes a little too much sense. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, because Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi. I know that might be tricky legally. Oh my.
I saw that light bulb. What's going on?
So remember how Tom Rothman and everyone over at Sony's just like, we have an agreement with Marvel of like, they'll show up in one and then they'll show up in a crossover and then they'll show up in an individual one. Well, we're due one more appearance in a crossover. Is it ever written in stone that it has to be Tom Holland's Spider-Man that crosses over into a random Marvel movie? It could be Toby. That's how we get that. But the other one, my last one, I was just like, I feel pretty confident and this could be really fun. Chris Evans as either the Human Torch or Captain Hydra when he was the Hydra sleeper agent. I know we got
that would be interesting.
I know we got reference to that in Endgame when he did the Hail Hydra as a joke, parodying the moment in the comic. But if he was actually evil this time around, because there have been rumors of Agent Carter showing up, of Captain Carter from What If showing up. Oh, bro, if we could have Captain Carter versus Captain America as a sleeper agent and one-on-one fight, even if it's just for a little bit, shut up and take my money, because I don't like Peggy Carter. I really don't. Even as Captain Carter. But I feel like the reason that they tipped their hand a little bit with Professor X, but they didn't show him, which is smart, is because he's just the tip of the iceberg. I did want with his first teaser to have at least one cameo, because if there's half as many cameos as we've been led to believe, then you can afford to show one or two. Like, they played coy with Toby and Andrew, but we all knew that they would be in there, but they never outright stated it, but they at least hinted at it. I wouldn't be surprised if for the next few months, anyone that's been even remotely associated with a Marvel movie would be like, well, I was a little preoccupied for a few months just to maybe hopefully leech off some of that attention, maybe, or just random be like, oh, maybe I'm in it. Maybe I'm not.
Ooh, okay, hold on. I'm gonna kind of change some of my stuff. So, obviously, the zombie universe is on the table because of Doctor Strange.
Are you thinking Norman Reedus?
I'm thinking Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, but from the zombie universe. Either that or a zombie Wolverine would be cool as well. Terrifying, but cool. There's just, gosh, dude, and I think we said this with No Way Home, like they've really made it so like anything's possible. Like legit been like, all right, cool. We're gonna open the toy box and never shut it. So hold on to your butts. Like there's the possibilities are endless.
Hey, remember when everyone thought, yeah, you can't top Endgame, and now we're all just like, oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of pieces missing from that Endgame playing table that now they're just like, you know what? Everything. Which, who knows? At the rate we're going, and I say this with full sincerity, in the next 20 years, I think there's a 5% chance we could get Justice League versus the Avengers.
I can see that.
A few years ago, 0% chance. Now, 5% chance. Also, I think they dropped it in comics, but I feel like it was a year, maybe a year and a half ago, that they were teasing like some big crisis. And they're like, a few crises from now, you'll be teleported to a different dimension and fight alongside a very patriotic individual and a giant green monster, to which everyone immediately sat up and was like, say what now? Are DC and Marvel Comics thinking about crossing over? Like the comics, not the movies. Because the comics have done that before with Amalgam Comics when the comics industry was almost dying, which, spoiler alert, comics aren't doing particularly well, which is kind of sad because comic book movies do well, but comics themselves don't sell. So maybe you can get that crossover in comic book form. But I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility within 20 years from now that we could get a Justice League versus the Avengers movie. I think that'd be insane. Merge.
Absolutely.
Because just look, 20 years ago, 2002, we're just getting the first Spider-Man movie. And look how far we've come from then to getting in the multiverse of madness where literally anything could happen. Howard the Duck could show up.
Dude, he is absolutely going to show up. Are you kidding me?
He's already in Endgame and Guardians of the Galaxy too, but not MCU Howard the Duck. George Lucas's Howard the Duck could show up.
Bro, Doctor Strange is going like through portal looking for something specific and like pops in, peeps through, and it's Howard the Duck's living room. And he goes, what the fuck? And it cuts out because
what the duck? What the duck? I need that pun. I need that pun to be in there.
Oh my gosh, that would be fun. That would be a lot of fun.
We get a Howard the Duck adult animated series on Hulu. I would pay good money for that. Like Harley Quinn.
No, that's cringe.
Like
That's cringe as all get out.
Nah, dude, like Harley Quinn on HBO Max, but do it with Howard the Duck, basically. Oh, I would.
Okay.
Howard the Duck,
yeah,
I could see.
I'm on board. Dang it.
There was talks of maybe Ben Affleck's Daredevil, but I'm like, I think he's done for the time being. Never say never, but I think he's off the table for Daredevil for now. Colin Farrell is Bullseye. Make it happen. Colin Farrell is Bullseye. Idris Elba is that weird priest in Ghost Rider 2.
Oh no. Oh, I mean, so
Vinnie Jones as the Juggernaut. Just have that Juggernaut meme come back. I'm the Juggernaut.
Juggernaut. Oh my gosh. Do we think Blade will be showing up in this?
Actually,
how? First of all, if Blade shows up.
So it's funny you say that.
Okay.
There have been some discussions, not from credible sources, I'll put that up, obviously, that if we're dabbling with dark magic, don't we need some characters that are familiar with the dark side of the Marvel Universe? Case in point, a certain Ghost Rider, Blade, and some other beings of... And they just introduced the Black Knight in Eternals. So maybe we get a whole bunch of this. Could also introduce the underbelly, so to speak. Moon Knight. Random BS. Go!
Well, so here's the thing. I just rewatched the Moon Knight trailer because I watched someone break it down and I was like, that's not there. And then went back and watched and I was like, that's totally there. When that shot of the bathroom, when it's panning in slowly and he's beating the absolute crap out of someone.
It's a werewolf.
That's a werewolf.
Yeah.
Werewolf confirmed.
He owed him money.
He does. Uh, he does. I just
Liking,
I
more
don't.
like lying about my change.
So here's the question. Okay, I hate you.
That was so bad. That was so
Lycan,
bad.
I barely know her.
Eh.
What would be funny to me is if, and I don't think they do this in Multiverse of Madness, but who knows? What would be hilarious if Ryan Reynolds Daredevil shows up, Ryan Reynolds from Blade Trinity shows up, and the Daredevil, sorry, not the Deadpool version from Wolverine Origins shows up in the scene, and they're just like,
and he just looks at the camera.
How do you quantify any of that?
And he just looks directly at the camera and goes, "Oh man, it's my worst nightmare." Got it.
That's it. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so when you said I want Blade to be in this movie, my first thought was Mahershala Ali because we're getting a Blade movie. I hadn't even thought about Wesley Snipes being the Blade being in this. He just comes in. They always trying to ice skate uphill. I'm going. Maybe he could say that and everyone just look at him like, what
is this guy's problem?
I mean, I don't think Steven Dorff is busy with anything. He can come back. Is Chris Christopherson still alive? Bring him in. I don't know.
I know Triple H ain't busy this time of year.
Bring Triple H and his Chihuahua. Well, Triple H is, I don't know if Triple H is physically up to it, but
yeah, well, yeah, a few torn ligaments, who knows?
That's not what I was talking about, but okay. You know, the heart attack.
Wait, he had a heart attack recently?
Yes. Like, he was in the hospital. Like, that's why he's been away from everything. That's why they gutted NXT while he was gone. Yeah, they gutted NXT while he was on, basically, away with a serious heart attack.
Huh. All right. Well, I knew they gutted NXT. I just didn't know. Okay.
Or, in his case, a triple heart attack. A Bret heart attack?
He had he is no longer a heartbreak kid.
Wait, wasn't a heart attack like an actual Bret Hart move?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Cool.
It's a cool.
Back on topic.
Back on topic. Yeah.
Triple H and Chihuahua confirmed.
Multiverse of Madness is going to be so crazy, and I think I said this before. It's going to be the first Marvel movie I intentionally go and get tickets in like an IMAX theater. Just some of the visuals in this trailer alone I have to see it in IMAX. I have to see it.
Yeah, also, you get to see Wong die in IMAX, because, mark my words, Wong ain't making it out of this movie alive, guys. Like,
you can't fix everything, Strange.
To which I think the end of the arc for this is Steven will have to be the Sorcerer Supreme, and understanding the responsibility that comes with being the Sorcerer Supreme of, you don't just have to look out for your universe. You have to look out for the entire multiverse. And with Wong out of the way, it's just like okay, you now have this. There's no right or wrong answer here. It's just bad puns tonight, and it's great.
If he's out of the way, did he take a Wong turn? Gosh.
I don't want to pile on anymore with it.
Yeah, no, that there's something about that joke that feels a little racist, and I don't know what it. How
have I never noticed it? Isn't Wong played by Benedict Wong?
Yeah, what? That's crazy. Okay. The more and more we talk about it, this movie is gonna be super cool, and I think it's gonna reveal where we're really going in this phase, because that's the thing right now is like we've had some fun movies so far. Yeah, some fun stuff's happened so far in this phase, but we haven't really gotten a direction where, like, you know, the first phase was definitely leading to like, oh, Loki's gonna do some stuff. Okay, cool. Next phase, what are we building to? Well, we're gonna build over 2 phases up into, you know, Thanos. Like,
there's been some
it
talk.
Makes sense. So it's going to be interesting.
I have a guess.
What?
2 words.
Gotcha. What you got?
Secret Wars.
I hate it.
So in Secret Wars, basically, all the different universes come together and have to fight each other for survival. So what if the reason we're introducing multiverses is where do you go after Endgame? In which case you have to save the whole planet. Well, what if it's save every Marvel movie that's ever existed's universe? You have the Fox X-Men fighting our Avengers, fighting Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, fighting Ben Affleck's Daredevil, fighting the Fan Four Stick who immediately die upon arrival to the Earth because they're not used to good air. Or something. Just kill Fan Four Stick immediately, please. But Secret Wars basically has a whole bunch of different incarnations of the characters we know and love having to fight each other. And maybe that's the reason we've taken so long to get to Avengers, is we have to set up a multiverse as well as setting up all of these new characters that we're gonna meet. That way, when our original cast comes back as different variations, we'll be more excited of a Hydra Cap or Human Torch, because bring back all the Fantastic Four except for Jessica Alba. You can leave her in retirement, but like Ewan Grufford, Chris Evans, and Michael Chiklis, bring all of them back. Have the Thing on the Illuminati. I don't care at this point. Just, he seems fun. But I think Secret Wars might be the direction that we're going, because those are pretty big stakes. That's like a everything is canon type of situation.
That is, and I guess that way you can save Galactus. You can save some of those kinds of threats for your next phase. The thing I'm kind of always worried about in the back of my head is, so what happens 20 years from now when you're done Secret Wars, you've done Galactus, because eventually you will run out of material. Like
just like the comics do.
No,
Josh, by the time they run out of ideas, we're gonna be in our like 60s, in which case, so do you realize how rare it is this franchise has come this far with, despite what Josh thinks, as few stinkers as they have, and they haven't needed to reboot it yet? So eventually, when we get to the 50th Marvel movie, I think they would have earned a reboot by that point and start over like comic continuities do. Like James Bond has done 50 movies, but they reboot that every like 6th movie basically. This is going on 28 and hasn't been rebooted. I think in 20 to 25 years, if they wanted to, they could reboot it. Why not? Maybe by that point DC will get it together.
That hurts. That hurts
my
soul.
To be fair though, I've had this argument with people before that they'd be like, yeah, DC will never be as good as Marvel ever again. I'm going, nothing in this world is guaranteed. Clearly, you need to study your history more, because for a certain point in time, people said the exact same thing about Marvel. The only good things coming out in the entertainment were DC-related movies. Marvel was making Howard the Duck, and Batman was making Batman 89 and the original Supermans. So everything will eventually come around. I know it's tough to hear, and maybe I'm completely wrong on this, but someday Marvel won't be popular anymore. And I think by that point, maybe DC will take over the reins. Like, things are always changing and evolving. Maybe by that point, superhero movies won't be a popular trend anymore, but nothing stays permanent. Marvel will not always be the dominant factor. It just seems like that for now, because they're everywhere and they have no plans of stopping, but they won't always be the dominant force, and that's okay. And I think by that point, they'll learn to evolve and move on to different things. Maybe Kevin Feige can, I don't know, take a nap finally.
Poor guy. Well, but like, I think too, the thing is, and I hope this is where we start going eventually. We're definitely dipping into it on the TV side of things, but exploring some of the other comic companies like Image, like IEW, like Dark Horse. Those I understand Dark Horse is kind of the DC's redheaded stepchild, but
no, that's Image. That's really his Image.
Yeah. But see, you could say that, but Image has some absolute hits, whereas I guess Dark Horse has like
Hellboy.
Hellboy, and Constantine. And yeah, okay. Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of comics out there, and I'm hoping for more. It's going to be interesting. And I just had this thought, and this is not on topic of Marvel, but if in the Flash movie he's going through different worlds, and he like appears, looks up on an alleyway, and it's Batman hanging out with four turtles, and then he goes, "That's weird," and zips off. Like I need that. I don't know why I thought about it, and I'm like, now I need that. Now I need that.
It's the original '90s Turtles crossing over with '89 Batman. Oh, better yet, it's Christian Bale's Batman. And he's just like, what is going on with my life?
Absolutely. I agree. I think eventually Marvel will fall off. I and not fall off because that sounds like they're gonna fall in quality, but
everyone does eventually.
Yeah,
unless you're Tom Brady, in which case you retire on top, which is annoying.
Absolutely, which is not.
Screw you, Tom Brady! How dare you not have a bad season?
Yeah, like what's wrong with you? I mean, you never had a bad offensive line, but anyway,
and Joe Burrow just showed us the importance of an offensive line.
Yes, but that being said, eventually, other companies are going to come up. Eventually, your fan bases are going to change. People are going to grow. People are going to die, and I just like, for instance, whenever we have kids, and then they have kids,
we're gonna die.
Oh yeah, eventually we all die.
I'm having an existential crisis.
Eventually, like us grow, because like Marvel's a big deal for us because in our generation, because like it's like Star Wars for us. I have a vivid memory of seeing Captain America in theaters, seeing the first Avengers in theaters. Other kids are not going to have that. So I'm not going to say because of that they don't have they won't have the passion for the Marvel Cinematic Universe as we do, because see, there's so many factors in this. I don't know, because media sharing is so much more able to be prevalent these days. So it's so who knows? But I liked there was only one trailer I think this past weekend that I was not a fan of, and that was Lord of the Rings. Doctor Strange has given us a whole nother batch of things that is like, all right, cool. Let's get board the hype train, baby. Let's go. Hey, I'm gonna look into the back of that frame, pause it here, and see what's going on there, because I've already seen it. But yeah, like it makes it exciting. We're in February. We're getting ready to go into spring, which opens up to, as you know,
the Batman.
This is how the year rolls. Goes into summer. I'm excited.
And then once summer hits, we're almost to Halloween, and that's just how it goes.
That's just how it goes.
And then when Halloween hits, then it's a new year, and then you realize you're one step closer to the grave because time moves too fast for our lives to handle.
Okay, you know what? We're recording these back to earlier in the morning because you're not as sassy in those times. I'm over this. I don't
know. If this episode does well, we're just bringing the sass more and more. That's how that happens. What do you guys think? Do you like the sass? Let us know in the comments below. Also, let us know, what was your favorite trailer from the Super Bowl? Did you watch the Super Bowl? Did you care about the Super Bowl? Are you in mourning like the Bengals or the Bungles? Are you celebrating? Are you ramming everything? That was terrible, Pellin. That was bad.
Yeah, let's not do that.
But
hold on.
If you like the wildness that is us, subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to it, whether that's iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or YouTube. And if you haven't already, subscribe to us on YouTube at Uncharted Media. Help us get to 700 subscribers by the end of the year. That's our goal. And as always, stay sharp, movie guys and gals.